Hey guys, so recently I stumbled upon a new striker build that I wanted to share with everybody today. And that build is to swap our Storm Dragon Kick with Lightning Kick. Now, this build has probably been around for a little bit, but I personally haven't heard of it until recently. And I actually checked that there were some Korean players, some Korean rankers, who are actually running this build. And I was curious. So I tried it out, and I felt that it is actually in many ways better than the Storm Dragon Kick variant. Now, there are both pros and cons of using this build over Storm Dragon Kick, so I wanted to go over those with you today and also tell you why I'm going to continue to use this build going forward. And also, it's kind of reignited my excitement for playing Deathblow, to be honest, right? I think a couple videos back, I mentioned that I was dropping Deathblow, and with this new build, I'm actually a lot more excited to play it, and will be playing it a lot more going forward, and be using it as my main build again. So before we dive into why I like this build so much, let's talk about the requirements. And there are some more requirements for this build compared to before. So for this build, you actually need 1795 spec for it to work with 2 purple wealth runes. So you will need every single wealth rune, and you'll need 1795 spec minimum to make this work. So we take a look at here. I'm going to spend this, right? We're going to do our 3 attack generator, and there we go. We can get enough bubbles. But if I drop it down even 1 spec with this, it no longer gets the full bubbles required. So you do need to have 1794 or 1795 spec to make this build work with double purple wealth rune. If you don't have 2 purple wealth runes and you're using a green wealth rune, well, you actually need like 1843 spec to make it work. So most people aren't going to be having that. If you have that much spec and you don't have your second purple wealth rune, I really question what you're doing, because it's a lot easier to get those these days. But yes, you're going to need at least 1795 spec to make this work, and your 2 purple wealth runes. So those are the requirements. Now, here are the things that I really like about this build. So first of all, this build has a faster burst window. I'm going to pull up this website right here, and it's going to compare the Lightning Kick to Storm Dragon Kick and how much time it takes to get the skills out. So as you can see here, right here, they're going to start. Boom, this one's already done, and then that one finished, right? It's not like a huge difference, but as we all know, right, and this one's done right there. This one's just started the attack. As we all know, Striker's skills are very backloaded. So Tiger Strike takes a while to charge up and go out, right? And then we also have Tiger Emerges, which the end hits are going to be your biggest hits. And then with Blast Formation, you want every single tick to hit ideally. So all of our skills take a while for the damage to come out. And because of this, the faster burst window makes it a really big asset to this build. Because if we're talking about a boss, they're only standing still for a certain amount of time. So the faster we can get our generators out to get the skill out, the better it is, and the less likely the boss will turn around in that amount of time. So that little bit of time, the faster burst window, is actually, I think, rather than just I guess, a convenience or quality of life thing, it actually is an increase the amount of damage you're doing, because you're being more consistent with the amount of damage that you do. The second thing is that this actually has a faster cooldown than your Storm Dragon Kick. Now, here's a couple caveats, right? So this build is using Sweeping Kick. And because of that, we are actually not allowed to use a cooldown on our mobility skill, whether it's Lightning Kick or Storm Dragon Kick. And because of that, we don't get the benefits of the cooldown gem for that mobility skill. But the thing you might be wondering is, well, it looks like Storm Dragon Kick itself has an 8-second cooldown, while Lightning Kick has a 9-second cooldown. How is it possible that Storm Dragon Kick has a longer cooldown time when that is the case? Well, there's actually two pieces to this question. The first piece is that when you use Storm Dragon Kick, right? I'm going to equip Storm Dragon Kick right now. Let's replace this. When you use Storm Dragon Kick, there's a timer that counts down for your combo skill, right? Because it's a combo skill, it gives you some time to press the buttons again. And during this timer, the cooldown doesn't actually start ticking down. So if you ever wanted to just use this as a quick mobility skill to get away, right? Just like this. Well, it actually takes a hot second before that timer starts counting down. Whereas with Lightning Kick, the timer starts immediately when you use it. And I've done the math out to say that it takes basically an entire extra second for the cooldowns to happen. So as you can see here, this is my cooldown for my Lightning Kick, right? There it is. This is my cooldown for Storm Dragon Kick. And this is without any cooldown gems because I'm using the Sweeping Kick build, right? If you're using the Moonflash Kick build, then it's a little bit different, which I'll show you in a little bit. But if we line these two up together, you can see there's actually, this one's 958, right? This one's 856. There's an entire second difference between the cooldowns of these two skills. So Storm Dragon Kick, while it does say 8 seconds, it is actually a longer cooldown than 8 seconds for that reason. And because of that, Lightning Kick actually has a faster cooldown, a shorter cooldown than Storm Dragon Kick. Now, if we're talking about Storm Dragon Kick with a cooldown gem, right? If you're using the Moonflash Kick build, then it does become a little bit shorter, right? This one is the one with the cooldown gem. But at the same time, you also have to take a look at the second piece. When you use Storm Dragon Kick, there's 3 kicks, right? And in your rotation, you do need to use all 3 kicks to get your meter to maximize your bubbles, right? Well, there's a little piece of text right here that says cooldown +2 every time you use it an additional time. So every time you use the combo, it adds an extra 2 seconds of cooldown. So it goes from 8 seconds of cooldown, well, 9 seconds including the little countdown, to an extra 4 seconds. So it goes to 12 seconds of cooldown. So regardless of whether you are using Storm Dragon Kick with a cooldown gem or without a cooldown gem, because of these extra couple seconds you're adding onto it when you're using it as a generator ability, it's always going to have a higher cooldown. So because of this, you actually have a faster and smoother rotation, and in addition to this, you actually have more flexibility for using it as a mobility skill. So for example, our rotation is normally like this, right? So we hit this, we hit this, we hit this, go into this, and then we throw out our 3 tiny generators, and then we use our last skill, whether that last skill is your blast formation or your tiger emerges. Well, I can do this now, right? This into Tiger Strike, use this as a mobility skill to get away, and then when I come back, I can go with my rotation as normal, and as you can see, there is pretty much no delay in our cooldowns when it comes to doing the rest of the rotation. It just comes back right on time. So this skill, because it has a lower cooldown, you can actually afford to use this a little bit more as a mobility skill and not really have to give up your damage as much as using Storm Dragon Kick. It's only like, a 1 second or so difference, but it is definitely noticeable because of that. You have a lot less delay in your rotation. And talking about less delay, the smoother rotation really is that too. Because it has a lower cooldown by 4 seconds, you pretty much never are waiting on this skill to come back up during your rotation. Your rotation is pretty much always going to be capped by this Vicious Tiger Dance skill, as opposed to your Lightning Kick, which before, in certain situations, especially if you were using your Storm Dragon Kick as an adrenaline stacker, your rotation would actually be delayed by the Storm Dragon Kick as opposed to the Vicious Tiger Dance for a couple rotations. So this allows for a smoother rotation as well as you being able to use it for mobility. And in addition, you also get an extra weak point, right? You get more destruction in your kit, whereas Storm Dragon Kick doesn't give it. And lastly, I just think that this skill looks just way cooler. It's way cooler, in my opinion. It's flashier. It's, makes you kind of do a somersault. This little lightning effect is just way cooler. And also, I think the AoE for it is a little bit bigger. So if you want to use it to like get to the back, you can actually kind of position it in a way where you're getting to the back like that, and actually be able to hit the boss and get your meter. I think that's really cool and really nice. So those are really the main pros for Lightning Kick. Now, for the cons, right? The cons for this build, there are a couple. And for me, at the moment, I think that the trade-off is good enough. The first con really has to do with SP, right? You need 420 SP for this build to work because you need your Lightning Kick to be at level 10. And as a result of that, you also need to take Sweeping Kick down to 10 instead of 12. So you're losing damage on your Sweeping Kick as a result. But at the same time, there is a small caveat that Lightning Kick does do more damage than Storm Dragon Kick. So you're getting some of that damage back, but you're not getting the full damage back from going down to level 10 on your Sweeping Kick. So the ceiling of this build is slightly lower, but as I mentioned earlier, because there is a faster burst window, your damage is going to be a lot more consistent because you're going to be hitting a lot more of those back attacks that you would have been missing before. Now, the last kind of big con, and this is probably the biggest con in my opinion for this, is that you lose the ability to use Storm Dragon Kick to stack up Adrenaline and also upkeep Adrenaline. Storm Dragon Kick was very nice because it was a 3-hit skill, right? You could use it to stack up your Adrenaline stacks like this, and then go into your rotation, and then you'd be at max Adrenaline stacks when you throw out your Lightning Tiger Strike. As you see here, I'm being gated by this, right? So my rotation is a little bit slower. Now, the thing is, on top of this Adrenaline stacking, right, you also have to use or are able to use Storm Dragon Kick to upkeep Adrenaline. So when the boss is doing some like attack where you can't attack them, you can throw these out to keep up your Adrenaline stacks. And unfortunately, you don't have that luxury with Lightning Kick. You can't really have this 3-hit skill to keep it up because Lightning Kick is only a 1-hit skill, right? So you lose this ability to keep your Adrenaline stacks up easily. But the one thing I will say about Lightning Kick that is a saving grace-ish for the Adrenaline stacking, at least at the beginning, you technically can go with a different rotation to make sure your Lightning Tiger Strike does have maximum Adrenaline stacks when you get to it. Additionally, you can also throw in Lightning Kick at the beginning like this, right? And then by the time that you are back to the Lightning Kick for your rotation, it is going to be off cooldown. So you can throw in that extra beginning Lightning Kick to use as a gap closer, and then just go with a different rotation, starting off with Blast Formation first, or Tiger Emerges first, whichever one you prefer, and then going into Tiger Strike. You don't have to throw it at the beginning, as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, actually, let's wait until the Adrenaline wears out. You can start with your normal rotation, so like this, right? And you throw in Blast Formation or Tiger Emerges, then use this, and then by the time you get to your Tiger Strike, it will be at 6 Adrenaline stacks. So you just got to change up your rotation a little bit for your initial rotation if you want to have max Adrenaline stacks for when you do Tiger Strike, or if it allows, let's say it's like Gargle Bees or something, right? It's like a Guardian Raid. Well, you can go and keep up your Adrenaline stacks, or stack up your Adrenaline before you get to the boss by using skills like this, right? So you can start stacking it up, and then by the time you get there, boom, you're ready to go, max Adrenaline stacks, and then you can go into your rotation as normal. So there is a little flexibility with that, but I understand there are some bosses that you can't really do that. For example, like Gate 1 Theamine, for example. You pretty much just start right in there, the boss is right in front of you. You can't really do that. So in those situations, you would ideally, if you want to get 6 Adrenaline stacks, start with something like, Blast Formation or Tiger Emerges first, and then go into your Tiger Strike, which in some cases can be a little bit clunky, But again, for me, the trade-off of being able to use Lightning's kick is definitely well worth losing the ability to keep up adrenaline stacks effectively, because you can still keep it up with your other skills. It's just a little bit tougher and like a little bit more risky, where you run into situations where you're going to be running into the cooldown of the skill when you're in your rotation. But the fact that it's a faster skill cooldown, which means you can use it for flexibility, you have a smoother rotation, you have a faster burst window, which increases consistency, and the fact that it's way cooler and gives a weak point, I think personally, in my opinion, it's a lot more worth it and a lot cooler. And it's also something different, right? Striker's been playing with this same exact build pretty much, except for, I guess, this one, Sweeping Kick, for quite a while. So this adding a little bit more variety, but also just a little more flashiness and a little bit more utility in certain ways is much more of a benefit to me that outweighs the cons of using this over Storm Dragon Kick. But again, at the end of the day, it is a preference, so choose your poison. And the last thing I will mention is that you definitely can still use Moonflash Kick with this build, but, you know, for me, I personally think that the mobility and the flexibility I get from Lightning Kick actually makes it so that I don't feel the need to use Moonflash Kick for the mobility there, because I have plenty of mobility with this skill here. But there it is, guys. I'm going to be showing you a little bit of a frog run that I did just to show you kind of how this build works in a kind of Guardian Raid scenario after this. But as always, let me know down in the comment section below what you thought about this video. Are you going to try this build out? Did you know about this build before? And also, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button, hit the sub button, ring the bell for notifications, and also I stream every single night on twitch.tv/MisoShiru starting at 10 p.m. PST. So hopefully I see you guys there, but if not, hopefully I'll see y'all on the next video. All right, guys. Peace out. Show me the kick. Yes, I will show you the kick as soon as this person throws. Like, the thing is with the cooldown too, because you know how like Storm Dragon Kick, right? The cooldown doesn't start the moment you press it. Oh, actually, it's a little bit. It's like 9 seconds, 10 seconds. But the thing is, Storm Dragon Kick, it's not like the moment you press it, the cooldown starts ticking, right? You have to wait until the combo thing ends. So it ends up being the cooldown for Storm Dragon Kick is actually a little bit longer than expected because of that. So, yeah. Oh, gotta love it. No crit. No crit. And also, it's a quick thing, right? It's just a one hit. So the rotation feels a little bit smoother and like faster to come out because of that. I'm dancing. Thank you. Oh, hey, yo, get me out of here. Oh, what the? Oh my god, that's so annoying. Can I? Oh, how did I not get eaten by that? That is actually insane. Like, just having it being a one-hit thing, and it's, like, so fast, right? It just feels really good. What? That was not... Oh, my God. And also, because it's a one-hit, you can use it to gap close and still get your full, what is it called? You can still use it to get your full meter. As opposed to with Storm Dragon Kick, you couldn't do that. Ah, you poop. You piece of poop. close to September 30th, 2023. I don't know. I've been lied to already once. Do I believe that? When there was other incriminating evidence against you, I expect your jail time to be around December. Were you aiming and doing sus stuff things in advance? What the? Why would I do that? Why would I do that? Why the heck would I do that? I do not have counter. Oh, that hit me, that reached me? That's kind of cringe. Like, look at that distance that I just covered, just like instantly, right? It's so nice. It is actually so nice. That one, again, the one downside is the adrenaline upkeep, but other than that, there's pretty much no downsides to this compared to Storm Dragon Kick, in my opinion. Cruel fighter, baby.